Welcome. We're just concentrating on that area below the navel, the center of this bodily existence. Breathing into it, breathing out of it. Just let your breathing be deep and full. As we're gathering, you could say all of our cells, we're letting all the cells come in, making room. Inside and out. See what it feels like to feel that sense of the, if you're standing, to feel that equal weight on both feet. It's radiating down from that center line, right below the belly button. So we're breathing in and out of the hara, the belly button area. If you're sitting, you can feel it. So if you can connect with all across your pelvic region, both from the middle of your tailbone all the way to the right and the left, that there's this equality, that everything is spread out equally across. That's what it feels like when you found your center in this particular way of standing. It's on both feet equally. It's across your pelvis, down through the center line of your backbone, coming to your sacrum. Just feeling those parts of the body, the feet, the sacrum. And this is the way that we'll begin in just a few minutes, but let me take a few minutes to just kind of introduce what we're doing today. But welcome. We're on our third class of the wheel, and let's do our invocation to start with, doing the goddess chant, and we'll say it all through. And if you don't know it, you can say it afterwards. So we'll say it all through twice. Everything lost is found again in a new form, in a new way. Everything lost is found again in a new form, in a new way. Everything hurt is healed again in a new time, in a new day. Everything hurt is healed again in a new time, in a new day. Change is, touch is. Change is, touch is. Touch is, change is. Touch is, change is. Change us, touch us. Change us, touch us, change us, touch us, touch us, change us, change us, touch us, touch us, change us.
To orient, we'll come back to the cards. And particularly today, the cards that show the experience of the center. I think both of these cards do, but the one on the
Left, the wheel of life really shows that beautiful sense of center. So as we're looking at these cards, I'll say the Rumi poem again. We came whirling out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. The stars made a circle, and in the middle we dance. The wheel of heaven circles God like a mill, turning and turning. It sunders all attachment. If you try to grab a spoke, it will tear your hand off. Were this wheel not in love, it would cry, enough! How long this turning? Every atom turns, bewildered. Dogs circle tables. Beggars circle carrion. The lover circles their own heart. Ashamed, I circle shame, a ruined water wheel. Every which way I turn is the river. If this rusty old wheel creaks to a stop, still I turn. For it is only the universe circling itself. So in the attempt to find the center, there is a sense of both feeling the whirling. You can see how that's happening in each of them. There's that sense of being whirled, of being tossed and turned around. And at the same time, that when there's a center, which is conscious self in the soul work tradition, it's the hub in other traditions. As dancers, I always knew I had to find a center because otherwise I couldn't hold or be in any of the changes of the body, because what would happen is I would be totally pulled off and fall. So it's the same thing. It's finding that center line, which is conscious self, to really be able to be in the whirling at the same time. And this whirling that I'm talking about is the whirling of what do we whirl around, as Rumi says. And the first aspect of it is that sense of finding out what is your whirling? What do you keep going around and around and circling in your life? And then as you begin to notice that and come into center, even when that's happening, that's really holding it, allowing conscious self to not get pulled out to the periphery. This is who I am. I've got to do something. Oh my God, look what's got to happen. All these ideas, the worry, that is when we're no longer in the center. And so the second piece of how we get pulled off is through the events in the world. So not only are we whirling around our own personal dynamics of what's going on, we've got the whole world is constituting and creating this whole other dynamic going on. What's happening in terms of all of the people in hunger, the Gaza Strip, and Palestinians and Israelis and the Ukraine and Russia and oh my goodness, and we've got China and Taiwan. It just keeps whirling. It's just like one thing after another, right? And so how do we attend to that? We can avoid it and pull back and again losing our center. We can go forward and really believe that we've got to make a change. And in both of those stances, again, we are not holding center. And so again, it's coming back to that center, watching the whirling, being able to let our wisdom from the universe, from high self, from being in this wheel, help us to know if there's anything we have to do. But we do it from the center. So the one last piece I want to say is people have been talking about doing, getting caught up in all of these many responsibilities and the difficulties about it. What happened? What would happen? How would it be if you were in your center when you were carrying out responsibilities and doing, rather than leaning so far into it that you're getting taken up with it, becoming it, it becomes you, or leaning back, I don't want to do it, go away. Both of those stances, just like with the world, if we do that towards our responsibilities, it's the same thing. How can we find the center?
Yeah,
So-
when we're not in the center, usually some other self is.
That's right. Or, yeah, it's even some other self substituting a relationship with the world, which is still, it's like, we don't know how to respond to it because we've lost our center. So that center line is so important. So we're going to do some more work with it. And I want you to know that as we do this work today, if it's difficult, just keep staying with the most elementary part of it. And I'll show you what that is. So we'll start with our feet about shoulder width apart. We want to feel as we're doing this and everybody's getting settled in, why don't you just let your feet really roll around on the ground and do it one at a time. Just feel all the pressure points when your foot is fully on the ground, each foot. You can breathe with that. And on the inhale, we're going to bend our knees a little bit. If your knees hurt, you don't have to bend them much, just don't let them be locked. And then we'll straighten up a little bit on the exhale. On each bending, we're really making sure that our feet are both solidly on the ground and that the balance is between them. So it allows us to come upright on that exhale and to really find what it's like to feel in balance. So we kind of find our balance on that inhale, letting our weight come down, and then we come up on the exhale. So just get used to that motion for a moment. It may be the opposite of what we usually do. Feeling that balance, you can put your hand right on the hara part of your body. And now we're going to start to feel what it's like, because it takes focus and concentration one-mindedness to be able to have a center. So we're going to bring that right foot on the exhale close to the left. Point it. And we'll bring it back out again. And inhale. Feel both feet going over both feet. And then we're going to bring the other foot in and we're going to bring it close, but we're going to point our toe on the floor on that exhale and feel the way that it begins to create a balance point. We're balancing only on one foot and then we bring our foot back out for the inhale. So every time we're inhaling, our feet go back to that shoulder width apart. And every time we exhale, we go onto the other foot and we balance on that foot.
I'm going to switch over to the other so you can hear me the best. So just keep letting yourself do that for a moment while I do this. Original sound. Okay.
So as we're doing this, we're going to add one more piece. We're going to begin to see what it feels like to just, as we raise our foot for that balance point, wherever you are when you're doing it, you can, when you raise that foot, you're going to close your eyes for a moment. And then, if you can, just for a moment, then put your foot back down again, breathe in. And go really slowly with it. Extend the breath as much as you can. This is the part we'll come back to no matter wherever we are in the rest if you're having a hard time, because I really want you to get the sense of the balance and what it means to balance, both with the eyes open. They're not looking, they're not really observing out there. They're just like, they're there as to help us to keep our balance, and then we're going to gently close them for a moment. Doesn't have to be for more than a moment. We're learning to find that balance. Good, and come back to that inhale again, and let's just stay in that position, 2 legs out, weight on both of them. And we're going to transition to the water breath, and I'm going to lead you through what we're going to do as we're doing it. We're going to lift off and do exactly what we did before, only we're going to, this time when we bring one foot into center, we're going to move and rotate just a tiny bit our ankle. And we'll do it on each foot. We'll go through, we'll do our knees. We will do it with our hips, and I'll explain that part. So as we do this with the ankle, you're going to notice that it's going to be harder to close your eyes. So if you can't close your eyes, don't close them, but just let yourself continue to feel erect, especially on that exhale.
And the water breath is in the nose, out to the mouth.
Yes. You can still try to close your eyes for a moment. Breathing in and letting your weight go down on 2 feet on that inhale. On the exhale, we're bringing our foot in and we are balancing on 1 foot tall while we rotate the ankle. We should have done this both on each foot by now, so we're going to do it with our knees next time.
let the knee come out. As you have trouble, just let yourself kind of pull up in your body. It's like remembering I'm part of this universe. And after this one, we're going to transition into the hips. Now the hips seem pretty simple, right? Because we can't really lift off. So we're going to start with just letting ourselves be going down in the inhale. And on the exhale, we're just going to let the hips be really big, like a barrel. So it begins to, you begin to find where's that center in that barrel. Breathing in again, coming down, and then finding that big barrel going the other way. And now this time we're going to do it, and we're going to bring one foot up again, and we're going to turn the hip on that side. Feeling our straightness of our body. We're going heaven and earth. Now we do it on the other side. We'll do it for two more times on both sides. And then we're going to move to our solar plexus and our chest. And letting that turn in the middle. Finding that center line. And this time we're going to let our foot come off, whichever foot we want first. And we're going to turn on the right or left side, whichever foot that is. And we're going to let ourselves just turn a little bit on that side. Imagine that revolving happening around the torso. And then we breathe in again and do it on the other side. Coming through both feet every time we come to that center line of the inhale. When you're ready, coming back to that center line, letting yourself just dig in and feel your weight dropping on that inhale. And we'll take just one breath of the water breath without having to do anything. Just feeling that axis between earth and heaven. And we'll do another couple like that. And one more breath like that, and then we're going to go to the shoulders. So when you're ready, we'll be bringing one foot over and rolling our shoulders on one side. Roll the shoulder on whatever side you've got your foot lifted. See if it goes better, if you do it faster or slower. Find the right rhythm for your body. Tuning in to learning this place of being able to be in the center. And more with the shoulders. Seeing what it's like to close your eyes for a moment. And this time we're going to add the elbows and the wrists. With whichever foot you raise. And now adding as you're ready, the head. In the head, we're just going to feel it in the middle for a moment. Find our center line as we let the whole head turn. Breathing from the center. Feeling heaven and earth as our head turns. You can turn it large, you can turn it small. And then when you're ready, breathing in and bringing one foot up and letting your head turn in that direction of your foot. Just a little bit on that side. And then the other foot. Coming back into the center line again when you're ready. And one last water breath. Letting your body gently turn. Not big ones, but just imagine all the different pieces turning. You won't be able to do your legs, but you can turn and imagine this turning happening with your upper body while you feel that center line of the torso. And root in again, and this time breathing in through the mouth for the fire breath. Bringing it into the center and exhaling with your hands out. Come all the way from that hara up into the heart and extending it out through the hands. And as we do this, on the exhale, we're going to come out of this center line, 2 feet on the floor, and we're going to bring all of our weight over to the left foot for starters. So on the exhale, we're on our left foot, and just feel that change. Lift it up for a moment so you have that sense of the left foot is one. On that exhale, that everything comes to that left foot, and you feel the radiance coming out while you're standing only on one foot, balanced. The next time we do it, after we come from center, we're going to use the foot as a paddle and move around. If we don't put any weight on it, we just paddle around with that foot. And wherever you stop, you can breathe in again. And on the exhale, we are using the foot as a paddle. The center is on the left foot for right now, whenever we're exhaling. And on this inhale, when you begin to exhale, bring the weight over to the right foot. And just lift off your left as you extend your arms and radiate. And the next time we'll use it as a paddle. Leaving all the weight on the right foot. One last time. Letting your feet have equal weight again. And this time letting the fire breath go into the air. So we're equal weighted feet, breathing in. And on the exhale, our arms raise.
In and out to the mouth.
In and out through the mouth. And as you do this, without having to even lift one of your feet, gently on that exhale, let your center switch from one to another foot. As the air fills you with lightness, and let your head begin to bobble. Nothing serious, but just, like air, like being very lightly touched, moved by air. As you continue to move from one leg to another with your weight. Let your hands bobble a little. Let the air begin to permeate your whole body. Finding your center, even as the body's wobbling. And then begin to really gently do the same breathing in, coming down. But on the exhale, wobble and bobble and turn around one leg. Slowly. Start to feel what it feels like to be turning and centered. And as you're ready, letting your air breath take you right back to center. Feeling both feet on the floor, feeling your belly, your hara with your hands. And put a hand on your hara and on your heart. Come into that center line. Breathing into a very center from the base of your sacrum. Energetically coming up through the perineum. Out through your heart and eventually going all the way up through your crown. On that exhale. You can take any breath that feels good to do right now. And just let yourself feel that center line. And for a moment, imagine that the world, every atom is turning all around you, even as you feel your center line. Your thoughts may still be turning. You can place them out on the wheel as you stay with your center. All the things are still going on in the world. You can see them more clearly from the center line. And let's sit with this awareness. Yeah, just letting yourself feel that before you go too far. Continuing that center line in your body. Feeling it right now, even as you're sitting. Up through the perineum, your sacrum. With every inhale, up to the heart. And then naturally on that finish of the exhale, it leaves through the crown, connecting you both ways, heaven and earth. You have the pivotal point. You have that place in the middle within your own experience of being even in your body right now.
As you have that center point, that center line, that still point, center of the cyclone, now you can feel perhaps lots of different cells that may be circling around that center point, or maybe as conscious self you get lost and then you're circling around some self. It might be concerns with the earth element, with the body. It might be you get off center out of that center point and you're circling around all the feelings and worries, the water element. Or maybe you're circling around all the anger and resentment and the need to fight or flee, and you're circling around the fire element. Or maybe you just get lost in your thoughts and you're circling around the air element. So just coming back, imagining that center line, and also in the center, just breathing in and out of your chest, soft and porous. So we're in the heart center, in between the lower 3 chakras and the upper 3 chakras or centers. Just feeling the center, the ground, the support of the belly. All the instinctual energies in the heart rests upon that. And here's the heart between the mind and the body. Just this beautiful center point. The center point in your body, the center point of the entire universe in your heart. So just take a moment to feel the center line that Yaya brought us to and to your heart, letting the breath flow in and out as your heart is soft and porous, centering in your heart. And if there are any selves that are busy or worried or in pain or feeling they need to eat or anything, any of those things, just asking them to step aside, letting them know that you as conscious self with the support of high self, you're going to be the center. They can be on the rim of this wheel circling around. You can feel this wheel inside you. You're at the center with high self, just inviting all the different selves to circle around you.
The stars made a circle, and in the middle we dance.
When another self comes into the center, just gently ask it to go back out to the rim, back out to that circle, and you're at that center point in the middle. Just like you felt that in our bodies when you were trying to hold that balance, hold that center point wherever it was, whether it's on two legs or feeling it on one leg, no matter what's happening in the different elements. Here too, finding with the inner, not just the body, but with the feelings, the thoughts, the actions, finding that center point inside in your heart, being that center point. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Be in the center, the still point. And as you continue to open to the garden of your heart, the sacred space, this heart which is the center, just listen to these few words. The sun world dissolving. Bathing in moonlight. Dreaming while awake. And to really dance, the stars make the circle in the center, we dance. Really just dropping into your heart and just imagining the sacred space of your heart today. Whether it's a space you've been before, a feeling, someplace from a dream, with whatever senses, whether you just feel that, you imagine, you see, there's smells, taste, using your inner senses to find this center place of the sacred space of your heart. With all love and respect, we call upon you, beloved High Self, to come in to our hearts for a time of communion, guidance, and dialogue. And really allow High Self, the High Self is everywhere, everything, but to especially come into your center, into your heart, with you as conscious self. Then just communing for a moment, feel the presence of High Self, strengthening you in your center. And beloved High Self, we ask for any guidance today on how do we maintain our center. Any support, any ways you can help us learn to maintain our center so that we can hold and bring loving awareness to any self, but not let them take over the driver's seat, not find ourselves on the rim, but find ourselves in the center. How can we support us staying in our center more and more, whether the selves are whirling around things in our bodies or feelings or things on a personal level or getting lost in the collective. How can we keep coming back to center, to this place of being with, of witnessing and experiencing without being lost, without losing our center? It could be as simple as doing physical work, or when you're lost, wondering which self you're blended with. Doing a practice or something you really enjoy, whatever it is to help you come back to the center, and then bring your loving awareness to whatever part of you has been activated. And really staying within breath with High Self, feeling High Self, helping you drop more deeply into the center, your center. And as you do that, just noticing some self that's been activated on a personal level. Maybe it's worries about something about your body, or feelings that you get that take you away from your center, or actions. Just noticing something in your current life that pulls you out of your center, that where you lose being in the center as conscious self and you blend and get lost in some other part. And really inviting this self into the center, into your heart with you and High Self. Really feel this part. What are the sensations that come with this part in your body? What are the feelings that this part has? What thoughts or beliefs does this part have? And what actions does this part collapse or run away or get angry? What actions does this part like to take or want to take? And if the visual image comes up, just allowing that to happen too. And as you're ready, open to being with this part like in a waking dream. And you can see there's already a center. You're here, seeing this part, being with this part, feeling this part, knowing this part. That there's already you as the center, and this part a little outside of you, a little bit on the rim, still in the garden of the heart. But just notice that separation. You're the center as conscious self with High Self. And here's this part that often just takes you out of yourself. Just take a few moments to open, to allow any communication, anything that this part needs or wants to share or name it as, just open, getting to know this part. Letting this part know that it's natural to just whirl and turn around things, and it's natural to get lost, and it's natural for the outer world to spin and move. All these wheels are turning. But letting this part know you're in the center with high self. And you're there to help and support. Just open to see if there's any way you can help this part. Perhaps it's as simple as not getting lost in this part's frenzied emotions or activities or thoughts, but being there, bearing witness, being with this part. Perhaps there's something more concrete that this part wants or needs. And you can stay with this part, or you can invite this part to just enter the breath of unity with you and high self. And take a moment, or just explore what's happening in the world that is just, that you're getting lost in, that's activating this self or other selves. Just notice whether it's money or politics or wars or catastrophes or whatever it is that pulls you out of the center, that you then circle around that rather than staying in the center, circling around and being with high self. Just allow one thing to float up. And as you become aware of whatever this outer event is, notice which parts, which self, who gets activated by this. And maybe you feel this part in your body, or are aware of the feelings of this part, or the thoughts or the actions. Just notice, because when we get consumed by events in the outer world, we often forget to come back to our inner world and say, hey, what self or selves have been activated by this? Whether it's something in your personal life or something in the collective, in the culture, in the world. It's always that, what's been activated? It's so easy to just lose ourselves. And then just bringing love and compassion to whatever self has been activated by these, whatever outer world event you're focusing on. You might even imagine breathing in the suffering of this one and breathing back love and compassion to this one. Just again opening to any other communication, any other ways that this one needs help or support. So just dropping back, being in the heart, just being in the center of the circle, just dancing, being aware of all the different selves. Knowing that each self will circle around different things. But you as conscious self are really circling around high self, which allows you to drop into the center. And so for a moment, just feel that, being with, circling around high self, and feeling all the other selves. If one of them wants to come in and take away, just seeing them outside, feeling them there, circling around whatever they're circling and just having compassion for them. Whatever managing, whatever duties, whatever responsibilities, however they get lost or fragmented or found, just noticing this incredible turning inside of all the selves. Imagine each self is like one of those Chinese acrobats who has the stick and the plate is spinning above it. All these selves spinning. But each plate has that center point too. But you and your center point are there with high self in the center, attending to all these different selves. Just being aware of them right now. You don't need to do anything but just be aware of them. Just notice them. And then inviting all the selves to breathe with you if they can. Any self that's open to just breathe, to be aware of high self in you. There's something else to circle around. And then as you're ready, just breathing that breath of unity with all selves who wish to, with high self. And we'll make a who, bowing down to our inner lives, another one to our outer lives, holding both, coming back, refreshed and alert to whatever sacred space you're in. And then coming back in your own time, in your own way, you might stretch or make a note or draw something, whatever, just reflect, taking that moment in soul work after we do a soul work, whether group or individual, where we want to just take that moment like a dream to reflect on the dream so it doesn't just vanish away. And as you're ready, we'd love to hear from any of you if there's anything you'd like to share about your experiences. We're exploring what we circle in this huge wheel that are happening, all these wheels that are happening all the time.
And I particularly love to hear from the ones who, in this class that I haven't heard from yet. It gets a little muddy for me because of the other class. It's a little confusing, but I'm pretty sure I haven't heard from Ella or Karen yet. And maybe Murad in this class. Can't quite. And maybe Malik, but you guys probably know better.
You know better than you whether you
I
shared
do.
in this class. That's too many things to circle, right?
Too many circlings, and maybe Majid, but I can't remember.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I'm loving these Monday mornings. This is such a beautiful way to start the week. Thank you. Today's practice, as well as the last 2 weeks, have been very profound for me, and the concept of circling. And today, Raphael, you wove in a little bit of the wheel of awareness. layer as well, which I appreciate. Yeah, this morning you spoke to leaning in or leaning out. And I had this image of like centripetal force and the chaos of leaning away, and the sort of black hole collapse sometimes of leaning in. And I'm aware that if I'm not circling high self, there's several large themes lately that come up for me. One of those, the roots of it are shame. It often comes up as low self-worth or self-doubt or perfectionism on top of that. And then relationally, I'm being triggered these days to circle some very uncomfortable parts of myself. The one that I sat with today is a very fiery guardian. So I'm calling her Fuego until she tells me differently. And she is really, today I grokked that she's a protector of my peace. She's just so irritated when my peace gets thrown off. And I don't always love the ways that she expresses that or the strategy she has to push others away or to set a boundary in a super fiery way. But I do circle her, and today I was able to really hold center and sit with her, and I'm very grateful for that experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, just
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I love the way you talked about leaning away and sort of fragmenting or leaning in and going to the black hole. I mean, everybody has different experiences, but I love those two metaphors for that. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, I was welcoming in a part that came up in a dream recently, uh, where there was a garden. There's a garden in the dream connected to an Episcopal church, and it has all these oak trees that go on as far as you can see, and it has a man maintaining the pond, and he's riding this. Oh, there's also lots of lotuses in the pond, pink lotuses. The man is riding a small tame version of the Loch Ness monster as he's maintaining the pond. And after I had the dream, I imagined this to be the new garden of my heart, um, or a new version of it. And I've been trouble finding a spot for myself in it, finding my place in it. And today I was speaking to the man and Nessie and thanking them for being there, and feeling a connection and a wonder and an awe at this pond, this beautiful pond with all the pink lotuses and this tame version of a wild animal who's like a water horse. And I was just aware of gratitude and awe at their presence.
Thank you so much. Yeah, what it spoke to for me is, I'll just say this and then we can finish, but there's a quote from Anaya Khan, something, I can't say it directly, but I'll interpret it. He says something like, mysticism is nothing without devotion. So what mysticism is the knowing, the experiencing of your connection to the universe. So here you have this beautiful garden, right? But when you reached out and actually, with this kind of love, connected with the gardener, that was what allowed you to enter in. So it spoke to me of that quote, of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I think our time is already up. It goes by quickly, and sending each of you lots of love. And if you have any questions, you can always write me, but I think we'll have at least one more class where we go into more of the the wheel itself, what happens when you can spin with the wheel and stay centered. So, adios until next time. Mwah.